So let me just finish up this discussion on what happens to the graph as it approaches the x-axis. Okay, so that our horizontal asymptote then is where y equals 0. And let's see what happens to let's see what happens to y above the x-axis. Okay, so we're going to look at a situation where x becomes large. Okay, so we've already looked at that on our table above. I plugged in that x is 50, so I'm going to go 1. I'll do the same example, so 2 times 50 plus 1. So 1 over 2 times 50 plus 1, and we got a rather small number, 0.0099. Okay, and as you can see, y is becoming quite a small number, so we say that y approaches 0. And you'll see that the same thing happens below the horizontal asymptote. I'm going to plug in negative 50 this time. Okay, so we're picking a number where x is very, very, very negative. Okay, so I'm going to go 1 over 2 times negative 50 plus 1. And I find I get negative 0.010 and so on. And if you were to plug like negative numbers that are a lot smaller than negative 50, so like negative 100, you're going to find that y will approach 0. Okay, and so we can see that as y gets closer to 0 but not equal to 0. Okay, so y will get closer to 0 but not equal to 0. Okay, and you can see that on the graph. If we take a look on in the first quadrant, the graph is getting very, very, very close to y equals 0. Okay, and it should never ever touch that line, and you can see that on the left also, that it gets very close to 0, but it won't ever touch the x-axis. Okay, so using the principle that we have up here, we can say too that if we have the reciprocal of a rather large positive big number, we will get a positive small number. And if we take the reciprocal of a rather large negative big number, we will get a negative small number. Okay, which we can see over here. If we take a look, we have the reciprocal of a rather large number, we get a small number. And here, the reciprocal of a rather large negative number, we're going to get a very small negative number here. Okay, and that concludes our discussion on finding and graphing the reciprocal of a linear function.